The Great Exodus. The observation deck of the International Space Station fell silent as Lieutenant Commander Alex Rivers stared at the data streaming across her screen. For 3 weeks, the signals had been consistent, precise, deliberate. They were not natural phenomena. They were a message, and that message was getting closer. Alex had spent 12 years studying deep space communications. She knew the difference between cosmic noise and intentional transmission. This was intentional. Something vast was approaching Earth, and it wanted humanity to know. She reached for the emergency communication line to Mission Control in Houston. Her hand trembled slightly. This was the moment every astronomer dreamed about and feared in equal measure. First contact, the proof that humanity was not alone in the universe. Houston, this is ISS. We have confirmed intelligent signals. Multiple sources. Distance closing. They will reach Earth orbit in 72 hours. The response came quickly. Too quickly. As if they had been waiting for this call. Copy that, ISS. Return to Earth immediately. Emergency protocols are in effect. Alex felt her stomach tighten. Emergency protocols. That meant the governments already knew. They had known before she did. The signals were not a surprise to them. They were a confirmation. The shuttle brought her home within 18 hours. When she landed, military vehicles waited on the runway. No press, no cameras. Just soldiers with grim faces and orders to bring her directly to Geneva. The United Nations Emergency Council chamber was packed with world leaders, military commanders, and scientists. Alex recognized faces from every major nation. The Secretary General stood at the podium, his face gray with exhaustion. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 72 hours before they arrive. The Zenithar Collective. They have sent advanced communication. They are not here to talk. They are here to judge. A holographic display activated above the chamber. It showed a translation of the Zenithar message. Alex read it twice, hoping she had misunderstood. She had not. Species 7749 designated humanity. Your civilization has been evaluated. Your history of warfare, environmental destruction, and aggressive expansion marks you as a threat to galactic stability. The Zenithar Collective has voted. Your species will be terminated. Your planet will be cleansed. This is not negotiable. Prepare for extinction. The chamber erupted, shouting, accusations, panic. The Secretary General slammed his hand on the podium. We have a plan. Project Horizon. It was created 30 years ago when we first detected signs of intelligent life. We hoped we would never need it. We were wrong. General Marcus Cole, commander of the United Earth Defense Force, stepped forward. He was a tall man with sharp eyes that had seen too many battles. Project Horizon is an evacuation protocol. We have constructed a fleet in secret, 250 vessels hidden in facilities across the solar system. Mars, the asteroid belt, Saturn's rings. They are ready to launch. Alex felt the weight of his words. A secret fleet, built while the world focused on climate change and economic crises. Built for this exact moment. How many can they carry? Someone asked. General Cole hesitated. 20 million. Maybe 22 million if we push capacity. Silence filled the chamber. 20 million from a population of 9 billion. The math was simple and terrible. We cannot tell them, the Secretary General said quietly. If the world knows, there will be chaos, riots, war. The ships will never launch. We must choose in silence. Over the next 48 hours, the selection happened. Not a lottery. Not a vote. A cold calculation. Scientists, engineers, doctors, teachers, artists. People young enough to have children. People with skills humanity would need to survive. Families were torn apart by algorithms that decided who had value and who did not. Alex found herself on the list. She did not want to be. Her parents were in California. Her brother was in Tokyo. None of them made the selection. She requested to be removed from the list. General Cole denied her request. You are going, Commander. Humanity needs people who understand space. Who can navigate? Who can think? Your family would want you to live. She wanted to argue. She wanted to refuse. But she knew he was right. This was not about fairness. This was about survival. The Zenithar ships appeared exactly on schedule. Massive constructs that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. They positioned themselves around Earth like surgeons preparing for an operation. Their first strike destroyed the moon base. Their second vaporized the Mars colonies. Their third melted the defense satellites into slag. Earth's military launched everything. Nuclear missiles, railgun platforms, laser arrays. Nothing reached the Zenithar ships. Every weapon was neutralized before it could strike. The technology gap was not measured in years or decades. It was measured in millennia. General Cole gave the order from a bunker deep beneath Geneva. All Horizon vessels, launch immediately. Maximum speed. Do not look back. The ships lifted off from hidden launch sites. They used every trick to avoid detection. Stealth fields, debris clouds, electromagnetic interference. The Zenithar were focused on Earth. They did not notice the small fleet escaping into deep space. Alex sat in the command chair of the vessel designated Wanderer 7. Around her, 300 people strapped into acceleration seats. Most were crying. Some prayed. Others sat in numb silence. Through the rear viewport, she watched Earth shrink. The planet glowed with fire. Cities burned. Oceans boiled. The Zenithar bombardment was methodical and complete. They were not conquering Earth. They were sterilizing it. Her console beeped. A priority message from the flagship, the vessel carrying General Cole. All ships, this is Horizon Command. We are heading for the Dark Zone, the space between galaxies. It is the only place they cannot follow. Engage quantum drives on my mark. The quantum drives were experimental, dangerous. They folded space itself, allowing ships to cross impossible distances. But they were unstable. They could fail. They could tear a ship apart. Alex did not care. Better to die trying to escape than to die waiting for mercy that would never come. All crew secure for quantum jump. This will be rough. The drive engaged. Reality twisted. Alex felt her body stretch and compress simultaneously. Time stopped meaning anything. She existed in a moment that lasted forever and no time at all. When the jump ended, they floated in absolute darkness. No stars, no light. Nothing but the faint glow of their own ships. Behind them, separated by an impossible distance, the Milky Way galaxy was a small smudge of light. Somewhere in that distant spiral, Earth was dying. 9 billion people were dying. Everything humanity had built was turning to ash. Alex made herself watch. She made herself remember. She would carry this moment for the rest of her life, however long that life might be. The fleet gathered. 247 ships had made the jump. 3 had been lost. General Cole's voice came through the communications network. This is not the end. This is a beginning. The Zenithar believe humanity is extinct. Let them believe it. We will survive here. We will grow. We will adapt. And one day when we are ready, we will return. The survivors listened. Some found hope in his words. Others found only grief. But they all understood one thing. They were the last humans in the universe. Everything depended on them now. Over the following months, the fleet organized itself. Engineers connected ships with docking tubes. Scientists established hydroponics bays. Doctors treated the psychological trauma that affected everyone. Children were born, the first generation who would never see Earth. Alex held one of the newborns, a girl named Luna. The baby's mother had died in childbirth. The father had been left on Earth. You will know what we lost. Alex whispered to the sleeping infant. You will know what they took from us, and you will help us take it back. Years became decades. Decades became centuries. The fleet adapted to life in the void. They developed new technologies, new ways to survive. They modified their own genetics to handle the harsh reality of deep space. But they never forgot. Every child learned Earth's history. Every adult spent time in the memory hall, where videos and images of the homeworld played on endless loop. Rivers and forests, mountains and oceans, cities filled with life. The remembering became their religion. Forget nothing. Forgive nothing. Alex lived for 200 years before the aging finally claimed her. She died surrounded by people who called her grandmother. Though she had never had biological children, her last words were recorded and played at every anniversary. We are human because we remember. We are human because we care about those we lost. We are human because we will have justice, not for ourselves, for the 9 billion who never got to escape. The fleet continued, growing, building, preparing. They were in no hurry. Time meant nothing when you had eternity. The Zenithar had made one critical mistake. They had not killed humanity. They had given humanity a purpose, and that purpose burned brighter than any star. The Ghost Protocol Admiral Kira Osman opened her eyes and took her first breath in 180,000 years. The suspension pod hissed as it released pressure. Warm air filled her lungs. Her muscles ached from the long sleep, but her mind was sharp, clear, ready. She was the 47th generation descended from the original Horizon survivors, but through the miracle of suspended animation, she had only lived 60 years of actual time. The rest had been spent in dreamless sleep while humanity evolved around her. A medical technician helped her sit up. The young woman had silver-streaked skin, an adaptation that protected against cosmic radiation. Her eyes were larger than baseline human eyes, modified to see in low light, but she was still human. That was the rule that could never be broken. "Welcome back, Admiral. The Council is waiting for you." Kira dressed in her uniform and made her way through the corridors of the flagship Eternal Horizon. The ship had grown over the millennia. What started as a simple colony vessel was now a city in space. Parks, schools, manufacturing centers. 50,000 people called this single ship home. The council chamber was filled with holographic representatives from across the fleet. 3 billion humans now lived in the dark zone. They had turned 247 ships into 50,000 vessels. They had built a civilization in the void. Fleet Commander Jace Recon stood at the center. He was a combat variant genetically enhanced for war. Taller, stronger, faster. His ancestors had volunteered for the modifications knowing their children would be different. Would-be weapons, Admiral Osman, welcome. We woke you because the time has come. Our scouts have returned from the galaxy. We have intelligence on the Zenithar Collective. We have intelligence on Earth. Kira felt her heart accelerate. Earth. After 450,000 years, they finally had eyes on their homeworld. Show me. The holographic display activated. Kira saw the solar system. The sun still burned. The planets still orbited. But Earth itself made her breath catch. The planet was green again. Blue oceans, white clouds. Life had returned. But the cities were gone. In their place stood massive structures, monuments, statues, buildings that stretched into the sky. What am I looking at? The Zenithar turned Earth into a memorial. They call it the Museum of Pruning. They bring their children there to teach them about the dangers of aggressive species. They show them what happens when a civilization becomes a threat. Kira's hands clenched. The Zenithar had killed 9 billion people and turned their grave into a tourist attraction. They had made humanity's extinction into a lesson. A warning. How many others? Jace's expression darkened. 37 species. The Zenithar have pruned 37 civilizations since humanity. They evaluate every species that develops space travel. If they detect aggression, if they see potential for violence, they eliminate them. They call it peacekeeping. The chamber erupted in anger. Representatives shouted. Some demanded immediate attack. Others called for caution. Kira raised her hand for silence. We cannot just strike blindly. We need intelligence. We need to understand their military strength, their political structure, their weaknesses. We have that information, Jace said. Our scouts have been watching for 5 years. The Zenithar control 40% of the galaxy now. 89 member species. But not all of them are loyal. Many were conquered. Many are oppressed. And some remember humanity. A new hologram appeared. A tall, thin being with multiple eyes and delicate limbs. The Luminar. They were part of the original Zenithar Collective when humanity was pruned. They voted against our extinction. The Zenithar punished them, scattered them, took their homeworld. But they survived, and they have been waiting. Kira studied the image. Can we trust them? They saved genetic samples of humanity, hidden across the galaxy. They tried to resurrect our species but failed. They lacked the technology, but they kept trying. For 450,000 years they kept trying. That settled it for Kira. Any species that spent millennia trying to undo genocide was a species humanity could work with. Make contact. Arrange a meeting. But do it carefully. If the Zenithar discover we survived, they will come for us with everything they have. The meeting took place on a neutral station at the edge of civilized space. Kira brought only a small team, 5 officers in disguise. They wore genetic masks that altered their appearance. To any scanner, they appeared to be common traders. The Luminar representative called herself Scholar Thessia. She moved with grace despite her age. Her multiple eyes studied Kira carefully. You are human, Thessia said softly. After all this time, you survived. We did. Thanks to one of your people. An ancestor sent us a warning. Gave us time to escape. Thessia's eyes brightened with emotion. Keeper Venel, yes, he died for that choice. The Zenithar executed him when they discovered what he did, but he believed it was worth it. He believed humanity deserved a chance. Kira felt a weight settle on her shoulders. Someone had died to save them. Someone had sacrificed everything so humanity could survive. We will honor his memory. We will honor all who suffered because of the Zenithar. Thessia led them deeper into the station, to a hidden vault protected by ancient technology. Inside, Kira found shelves lined with data crystals. Information, evidence, the truth about the Zenithar. They were not always like this, Thessia explained. 1,000,000 years ago they were explorers, peaceful. But they encountered a species called the Ravagers, a civilization so violent, so destructive that it nearly destroyed the galaxy. The Zenithar stopped them. But it changed them, made them paranoid, made them believe that prevention was better than defense. Kira understood. The Zenithar had become the very thing they feared. They had become destroyers in the name of protection. How do we stop them? You cannot fight them directly. Their military is too strong. But you can do something else. You can expose them, show the galaxy what they really are, show the oppressed species that the Zenithar can be beaten. Thessia pulled up a star map. It showed Zenithar patrol routes, supply lines, military installations. Weak points start here. Make them afraid. Make them doubt themselves. Then the resistance will rise. Kira returned to the fleet with a plan. They called it the Ghost Protocol. Humanity would become phantoms. They would strike without warning, disappear without trace. The Zenithar would never see them coming. The first attack happened near the outer rim. A Zenithar patrol fleet vanished. 15 ships gone, no wreckage, no survivors. Just empty space where they used to be. The Zenithar investigated. They found nothing. Equipment failure, they concluded. Space was dangerous. 2 weeks later, another fleet disappeared, then a supply convoy, then a military outpost, all in different sectors, all without explanation. Kira watched from her stealth ship as panic spread through Zenithar space. They increased patrols. They deployed their best vessels, but they were fighting shadows. Every ship they sent to investigate disappeared just like the others. The secret was simple. Humanity had developed phase technology, ships that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. They could move through solid matter, could strike from nowhere, could vanish before anyone realized they were under attack. But Kira made one rule absolute. No unnecessary deaths. They captured Zenithar crews, transported them to neutral worlds with supplies, released them alive. This was not about killing. This was about justice. After 6 months, the galaxy noticed. The mighty Zenithar collective was struggling against an invisible enemy. Whispers spread through oppressed species. Maybe the Zenithar were not invincible. Maybe they could be resisted. The Korvath were the first to rebel, a warrior species that the Zenithar kept as mercenaries. They rose up against their masters. Kira provided them with weapons, technology, support. The Zenithar sent a fleet to crush the rebellion. That fleet never arrived. It vanished somewhere between their home system and Korvath space. More species joined the resistance. The Viridian miners, the Zalax traders, the Quillan farmers. All people who had suffered under Zenithar rule. All people who saw a chance for freedom. The Zenithar Council met in emergency session. Their supreme leader, Archon Valtor, addressed the assembly. We face an unknown enemy. They strike from nowhere. They leave no evidence. They are turning our subjects against us. We must find them. We must destroy them. But they could not find what they could not see. Humanity was too careful, too patient. They had spent 450,000 years preparing for this moment. They would not rush it. Kira stood on the bridge of her ship and watched another Zenithar fleet disappear into her holding facility. These crews would be questioned, treated well, then released. Each one would carry a story back to their people. A story about the ghosts that could not be stopped. Admiral, we are receiving a transmission. It is from Scholar Thessia. Kira accepted the call. Thessia's hologram appeared, her multiple eyes filled with urgency. The Zenithar have discovered something, a genetic marker in the attacks. They know humans are involved. They do not know you survived, but they are investigating. You must be careful, Kira nodded. Thank you for the warning. But our next phase begins soon. The Zenithar need to know the truth. She cut the transmission and turned to her crew. Prepare the broadcast. Galactic-wide. Full translation. It is time the galaxy learned what really happened to humanity. The broadcast went out simultaneously to every major world, every news network, every communication hub. The message was simple but devastating. A hologram of Kira appeared. She wore her uniform proudly. Behind her stood representatives from the Horizon Fleet. Humans of all types, baseline enhanced combat variants, voidwalkers, all of them human. My name is Admiral Kira Osman of the Human Remnant Fleet. 450,000 years ago, the Zenithar Collective decided humanity was too dangerous to exist. They came to Earth and committed genocide. 9 billion people died, but 20 million escaped. We have survived in the void between galaxies. We have grown. We have prepared. And now we have returned. She paused, letting the words sink in. The Zenithar call their genocide program pruning. They have murdered 37 civilizations. They decide who deserves to exist. They claim to keep peace, but they are the greatest threat the galaxy has ever known. We did not come back for revenge. We came back for justice. To every species suffering under Zenithar rule, we say this: rise up, fight back. You are not alone anymore. Humanity stands with you. The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, billions watched in shock. Humanity was not extinct. The ghosts had names, had faces, had purpose. The Zenithar response was immediate. Archon Valtor appeared on every screen, his face twisted with rage. Humanity is a disease that should have been eradicated. We will finish what we started. We will hunt every last human down. This time there will be no escape. But his words rang hollow. The Zenithar fleet was stretched thin. Their subjects were in open revolt. And somewhere in the darkness, 3 billion humans waited with technology the Zenithar had never imagined. Kira smiled as she watched Valtor's broadcast. The Zenithar had made their fatal mistake 450,000 years ago. They had tried to kill humanity when humans were weak and unprepared. Now humanity was neither. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you gave apex predators time to evolve. The Zenithar had created their own nightmare, and that nightmare had returned to show them what true justice looked like. The war had begun. But it would not be fought the way the Zenithar expected. It would be fought in shadows and whispers, in rebellions and resistance, in the slow, methodical dismantling of an empire that believed itself untouchable. And when it was over, when the Zenithar finally fell, the galaxy would remember one simple truth. Humanity did not forgive. Humanity did not forget. And humanity always kept its promises.